Two big guys going at it, boy.
This is a big guy battle. Wow.
Well, an advantage for the Ranger. Remke had no helmet for Johnston, so those punches are going to hurt a little more when they land.
I let them go.
One guy 6'7". How big's Johnston? 6'5".
No, I think he's 6'7" also. Yeah, that's pretty good size.
They send it up.
I love it. I love when he goes like this. Wake him up! Let's go!
Maybe he'll get a chance to wake him up again.
Yeah, buddy. I'm fucking stoked. I'm so excited, actually. All right, so that's Chris Kotsopoulos, Paulie D. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. I am stoked. Kotsi and I are going to the game on Sunday.
Yep.
All you crazy Ranger fans, we're going to get there early. So if you're tailgating, shoot us messages. We want to try to meet up with everybody as much as we can.
And let's wish all the beautiful women in the world happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day from Kotsi and Paulie D. Oh man, what a start! It's been crazy. I've been crazy, and it only gets crazier. So, yeah, happy Valentine's Day to all the beautiful women out there, moms and daughters and granddaughters, and whatever else.
And to my queen, Lisa.
Of course. Whew. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of Ranger stuff we're going to talk about. Obviously, we'll go around the league with some of the hotter topics. I'm pretty excited. If you're in the chat room, looks like the chat room's loading up already. Hello, everyone. Hey, Barry, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
Barry, Michael. Hi, Barry.
There's Mikey. Hey, boys, rattle the cage. That's right, Mikey. I'm going to rattle the fucking cage today, pal. Trust me. All right. We're going to start off real light. Beth, thank you for everything that you do. Beth really helped me out this week. Great job on the Instigators page, by the way. She does such a good job at, like, all the little things, a little heart today with the hockey.
That was awesome.
I mean, that's cool stuff, man. She's awesome. You're awesome, Beth. Anthony, welcome. How are you?
What's up?
Everybody, welcome. And I know we start to load up here. So I want to start with we'll start off easy. Spoke about it last week. It was on the page. Obviously, the vicious cross check by Riley. Right across the face, that Ottawa Leafs game was quite the game, and
Ridley Gregg, that's the name of the player from Ottawa.
We'll kind of go through that a little bit here. I think Kotsi and I are we agree and we disagree on some of it. Kots, I think the suspension of 5 games is a good suspension. I think it was the best. I think it was the best decision that was made by the league. And I'm going to tell you why. My personal opinion. And I understand it's a heated rivalry, but I think stick infractions, especially high stick infractions, are probably one of my pet peeves. I'm all for dropping the gloves. I'm all for fucking bench clear and brawls. Just not a fan of I'm just not a fan of using the stick.
You can dream on those. That'll never happen.
I'm not a fan of using a stick, especially in the face area. So he gets 5 games for a vicious cross check against the face, and I think it's suitable. I think it's the correct call.
Well, I think you're correct in the amount of suspension he's going to get because that's just the way the league is today. I wouldn't call it exactly the most vicious cross check I've ever seen because I actually was watching that game, okay? And I watched it live when it happened. I didn't get, like the rest of you all got to see it on replays and stuff like that. And if you call that a vicious cross-check, then they should have had a stretcher out for him, Paulie. He got up off the ice afterwards. It really wasn't that. He never really made great contact. I agree with you that he tried, but he seemed to let up a little bit, Riley, on it. Because if it was a vicious cross-check, trust me, Ridley would not be in the lineup again for at least a couple of weeks. He'd have a broken jaw.
Broken jaw.
Let's get that one part straight.
Sure.
I'm half in and half out on this one. I know the Leafs and Ottawa have had a rivalry since the days of Ty Domi and that Danny Alfredson and all that stuff back in the early 2000s with Ottawa playing in the playoffs and all that shit. But Ridley did something that's very unusual. Well, I'll admit that, very unusual, taking a big slap shot in the empty net like that. And he probably should have known something was coming. But for me, there's two ways about it. Yes, you should expect retribution. I'm surprised it was Morgan Riley because he doesn't play that way at all. In fact, the Leaf defense don't play like that at all. They're not the most physical, scary defense in the first place.
Right.
In the end, I think both sides have a point on it. I mean, Ottawa's trying to shove it in the Leafs' ass there about the game and stuff like that, and then Morgan Riley turns around and says, "Okay, if you want to do that, then I'm going to take you out as best as I could." So I'm kind of like half in, half out on it. But to call it a vicious is what happened to Pierre Turgeon by Dale Hunter. Okay, that was vicious because Turgeon actually got an injury. This guy didn't get hurt. There was no smelling salts, no blood, no nothing. So, well, I'm just telling you how it was. If you're going to cross-check a guy in the face, Paulie, make it worth the 5 games. That's all I'm saying. Plain and simple. But again, I understand it. I understand the people that are upset with it, but I also understand the other side of it too. And there's only one way to take care of that shit. Okay? Don't lose the fucking game. Okay?
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I mean, vicious, malicious. There was definitely intent to injure.
I'm not arguing. You're right. The intent was there. But if you really watch it in slow-mo, he gets real close, but he doesn't follow right through to put his
it doesn't put his face
through the boards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And again, listen, here's my thing. Again, I am a little bit partial to stick fouls. I will say that if Morgan Riley was attacking the player because something was done viciously, then I probably would scratch my head and say, that's a well-deserved penalty to take. This is an empty net goal, and you fucking slap shot it, whatever. If you take it as, oh, you're showing us off,
He was. I'll admit that. Yeah, he was.
I mean, it's an empty net goal. You're not, maliciously hurting anyone. So, it'd be one thing if he fucking slew-footed, Matthews and, was had an intent to injure another player. And then, you go after him and you raise your stick or whatever. But it's an empty net goal. So, again, I think the 5 games is good. I think it was warranted. The world moves on.
Well, really, Greg, one thing, I just read another article on him. He's gonna have to be aware of this stuff now. Like, if you're gonna pull that kind of shenanigans. And then, I agree with you. He was shoving it in the Leafs' ass, no question about it. Be prepared next time. Don't just stand there and not be unprepared for it.
Right.
But again,
I don't disagree.
I can't wait to see the Leafs and Ottawa play their next game. How's that?
Yeah, it'll be fun, right? It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. While we're on the Leafs, you got to talk about this. This was a good one. Apparently, Timmins, the defenseman, has been out for about 5-6 games with mono. And it is believed that mono might be floating around the locker room the Leafs players' locker room. Tavares and Marner were out last night, and they haven't practiced for a few games as well. So that'll be interesting because mono lasts. I mean, I know people that get mono that lasts well over a month.
Oh, it could last all season too, Paul.
Yeah,
I
that's bad.
I think I'm not 100% sure, but when I was in Toronto, I think Tom Ferguson had an illness similar to that, and he was, he looked normal and everything else. He just didn't have the energy to play, so he didn't play for like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Here, then when he did come back, they had him on some kind of special diet just to get him, get his strength back. So
Sure.
yeah, that really puts a little damper on the Leafs right now because they've been playing kind of good and kind of bad again. Typical Leafs as far as I'm concerned. But if it's running through the team right now, boy, they could be in a lot of trouble. And we got to remember now, guys, there's only 30 odd games to go now. I know it sounds like a lot, but those games are going to go by just like this. And right now, the East, I know the West is the same, but the East right now, from number 5 spot in the playoff to number 10 right now, is very close.
Yeah, there's not much difference there. It's not. Yeah, that's a good point.
You lose 2, 3, 4 games in a row, you can go from 5th to 10th in a hurry.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody gets on a hot streak as well. So yeah, good point there. Good point. I guess it's better it happens now for the Leafs than later because you don't want this shit happening in late April. So hopefully they can get through with it and get it out of keep it out of the locker room and everyone gets healthy for them.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, Paul, how serious it is if they didn't dress Marner last night, and as you said, and Tavares last night. Now, did anybody else catch a little whiff of it or whatever? You know what I mean?
Right.
If they did, I mean, all of a sudden you probably got about half a dozen to maybe a little bit more that, hey, boys, stay at home. Don't come to the rink, please.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What the fuck do? You got to pick up the cleaning and, they really got to be very precautionary because mono is very, very contagious, man. And it's, I'm not sure I'm not sure though that it's completely airborne though. I think there has to be a transfer of saliva, sweat, something. I'm not sure you can just catch it. I don't know. I don't know that. Obviously, when you speak or you cough or you sneeze, you can transfer fluid to other areas, and that's how people get it.
Yeah, I've never had it, so I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and neither are you. So who knows what the real scoop is on that? But I do remember Tom Ferguson not being around the dressing room, not being around the team for a couple months.
Yeah, that's huge. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Oh, yeah.
I know you wanted to talk about.
Hang on a second. I want Anthony Scrazzi there. He comes up with the Henry Boucher, Dave Forbes stick swing incident way back when. That's before your time, Paulie. That was a pretty vicious swinging. There's been some legendary ones. No question about it. When it comes to intentional. Barry's like he wants the league to go back the way it used to be, and I don't blame him. But it's not going to happen, Barry. We got too many woke people now. We got too many woke people running the NHL, and that's all there is to it. It's all there is to it. It's never going to get back to what the fans really enjoyed: a little blood, a little sweat, and a little tears. Not going to happen.
Yeah, so I am right. It's transmitted by mucus or saliva, either through direct contact or airborne. So, obviously if someone sneezes or something like that. So anyway, good stuff. Thank you, Beth. She's always on the ball. Barry's freaking tearing it up in there. He's angry. Barry's angry. He's just angry.
Hockey players do sweat. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I know, one of the other stories is something you brought up. Connor McDavid last night, eh?
Wow. That was listen, I played in the era of the Wayne Gretzky, Mary Lemieux, where on any given night those guys would pop like 5 points, 4 points, 6 points, all that kind of stuff. And Connor McDavid last night, Paulie was was unbelievable. He had a 6-assist night. Everybody's thinking, why didn't he score any goals? But he helped 6 goals for his team, Edmonton Oilers, last night against the Detroit Red Wings, who had a 3-1 lead in that game, and the end up score was 8-4.
Crazy,
so when I looked at that, it did remind me of the days of Wayne Gretzky, playing against Wayne Gretzky and during his era, where you'd look at it in the paper the next day, Wayne just had an average night. He had a goal and 5 assists, stuff like that. And Connor McDavid is still, you and I kind of argued about it or debated about who we think's the best overall player in the league. Well, Connor McDavid still shows that, he's right there with anybody you want to talk about. I still think McKinnon's a better overall player, but it's hard to argue with Connor McDavid. No question about it.
Yeah.
The guy's just unbelievable.
So the story says he's become the third in the last 25 years to have 6 assists in a single game, joining Pittsburgh Penguins defenseman Chris Letang, which I didn't know, and Oilers forward.
That's kind of surprising, Chris Letang. Yeah. He plays for Sidney Crosby. That guy that dominated for a long time.
And the other guy is McDavid's line mate. Leon Draisaitl.
That doesn't surprise me. Those two guys again have led the league in scoring back and forth for how many years now? Is this the year finally, Paulie?
Well, I tell you, they had that 15-game winning streak.
No, they were 16, and then they finally lost one.
Yeah, I mean,
but is this the year where those two finally get something that they can associate with their great offensive prowess? It's called the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, they're getting closer. We'll see what happens. They had an awful start, and here they are. So
they're like I think they're like 3rd or 4th place now in the West.
Yeah, they've definitely made some progress. So.
And they've cut down on goals. They've cut down on goals, which I talked about earlier in the year, how lousy their defense was.
Their defense was, yeah.
And their goaltending wasn't very good, but all of a sudden, things have changed there. So, good for them.
Yep. What else you got? You got something else?
Well, I just want to talk about, we're talking about suspensions here and all that stuff, and there was a couple other guys that got fined this week. I believe it was Grizzlick from the Boston Bruins got a spearing penalty against Pacioretty. And again, folks, I'm not saying the intention wasn't there, but damn it, if I'm going to get a 5-minute spearing penalty, I'm going to make sure that guy don't play the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Okay? I watched that part too, where he kind of speared Pacioretty, and Pacioretty went down like he, I don't know, like. The stick went right through him. In the meantime, Grizzly gets the 5-minute penalty, gets a $5,000 fine, I believe he ends up with from Boston, and Pacioretty was still able to play in the game. So how bad of a spear was it, Paulie? I mean, it's getting to the point now where I think what's happening with all the suspensions and all the fines now, it's what you said earlier. I'm going to agree with you on this. It's really not the outcome. It's the intent. The intent was there.
Yeah.
That's what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
Coming down to the intent. You intended to do it. Whether the guy's hurt or not, it's not the point anymore. But I just think that if you're gonna call me for a 5-minute spear, I gotta get my money's worth, and that really wasn't my money's worth, I think, for Grizzlick against Pacioretty.
Right.
Well, it's one of those again. What are you gonna do? Then Olmark, the goaltender, he got a big fine too.
$5,000, the most you can get against the Lightning eyes amount. So, I mean, there's a lot of stick fouls right now in the game.
Well, what about Shesterkin the other night throwing a few punches there?
Buddy.
Maybe they should suspend him too, right? No.
Well, listen, that was kind of messed up. With the officiating was terrible there.
It's hard to get used to, Paulie. I'm watching one-handed slashes and one-handed taps of the stick, and they're calling hooking on it. Slash. It's just hard. I'm never going to get used to watching that. I'm just too old school. That's all there is to
I
it.
get it.
Call me the old bogey, the old guy sitting on a bench like a curmudgeon with his cane, snapping everybody as they go by. Just just call me that. I mean, I'll be that guy, y'all fucking young whippersnappers. You know what I mean? That is me. That is me.
As I can see it too. I can see it.
Oh yeah, have that little Andy Cap hat on.
Get out of the way, God damn it! That's hilarious.
I just can't figure it out though. Why they're calling such horse shit? But that's just me. It ruins the game. I don't care what anybody says. It ruins the game. It ruins it.
Oh man! Well, Shesterkin shouldn't have to do that kind of stuff. So we're gonna cover that real here.
I still like what he did. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, so do I.
Liked it. Showed a little bit of spunk.
So do I.
A little bit of fire in there,
Last week, was it last week? Yeah, Cots last week. The Rangers put Bonino on unconditional waivers.
Yeah.
This week, the Rangers put Pitlick on waivers.
Yep.
It's an indicator that something's brewing. But I got to tell you, I was so excited to see Rempe and Enstrom called up. I really want to see Rempe play. But Enstrom did wind up playing the other night. And it was good. It was good. I like what I'm seeing. And it's funny because the week before we spoke about it, I said, listen, get these guys up. We got them. Let's get them up. Let's get them moving. Obviously, the Rangers had to move a couple of pieces out to bring these guys in. But I think until the Rangers make a trade, I think you're going to see Enstrom in the lineup. I wonder, Tots, depending on, and we're going to talk about the upcoming talk about what the trade could possibly be. I wonder where it's going to leave Johnny Brzezinski, though.
Well, I think he's going to stay. That's what I think. To be quite honest.
Well, you do.
Because I do. Because he's actually produced the last week or so, and that line together there with Cooley and him and whoever they had out there, VC or whatever, they mix it all up. But my point is that he's actually scored like 3 goals and 5 points in the last couple games. So
right.
Michael's telling us they sent Rempe back already today. That boo.
Yeah, they did.
Boo. Well, just for the sake of argument, I like the fact that they brought him up, didn't play him, didn't like that. Rempe we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it shows that they're willing to bring him up if needed in a game.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like when they play maybe Washington next time, with Wilson out there and having that kind of a, cloud floating over the arena, knowing that this might be in the lineup for a different reason. I kind of like that. Nedstrom's a big guy too, and he looks like he doesn't mind getting involved physically. I don't think he's much of a fighter, but he doesn't mind taking the body and playing hard along the board. So it's a good thing that they can bring these guys up. I got nothing bad to say about Bonino. I got nothing bad to say about Pitlick. They were bargain basement prices by today's standards.
Agreed.
The Ranger team, up until they got put through waivers, was still in first place, so they didn't hurt the team. Okay?
Sure.
So,
agreed.
But I also think that you need a little bit more as you go on here. I think they're setting up something here, trade-wise, call-up-wise, because you and I said at the beginning of the year, I think a lot of Ranger fans would agree with us, it's this year, Paulie.
Yeah.
This year. It's not waiting another year for Stanley Cup, not waiting another 2 years for Stanley Cup. They got to have the perfect moves ready to be made, put in place at the right time from here on till the end of the season. I think swinging these guys back and forth, giving them a little taste. Hey, who knows? Maybe they're part of a trade bait too. I'm just giving you all the scenarios here. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I like the fact that they called him up. I still like to see Connor McKay back up, the defenseman. You know what I mean? But they sent him down too. But it's nice that they gave these guys a little taste.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about it last week. We saw some of the moves that we spoke about last week because I had said, I think, bring some guys up because the team. Listen, here's the good thing. I think finally, and it's been a long time since I've said this, I think finally there's the recognition that we've spoke about year after year after year. This team needs some grade A beef, man. They need guys who could win puck battles, who can crash the boards. Everyone's on fire for Will Cooley. Why? Because he plays a basic one-on-one game. He's good positionally wise. He takes the body at he doesn't have to blast everybody through the boards, but every opportunity he can, he takes the body. He makes the defenseman feel. He makes everyone feel that he's coming, and you better get ready because I'm going to hit you. Like I said, it might not necessarily be, board-shattering stuff, but he wears them down. I think finally everyone has identified that needs to have identified this team needs some grade A beef. We need guys who can bang and crash and win some puck battles. So that's exciting to me because it's showing. Laviolette's bringing these guys in, whether they play or whatnot. Like you said, it's in the air. You can taste it. You can feel it. You can smell it. It's happening. Now it's just a matter of what are they going to do on defense? Like you said, what's his name? McKay? What's his name?
Mackey. Connor Mackey.
Loved him. He played that one game. He dropped the gloves. I don't know if he had an assist. I think he had a
shot. He played a good, solid all-around game.
He did.
You have somebody who can fill in when needed. That's all.
Right.
That's a good thing. It's the same thing with Adam Edstrom. Same thing with him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I hear Belisle's been called back up. Alex Belisle or whatever how you said it. Belisle. He's been called back up. I think there's all these moves are slight but big moves to show that there's possibilities here of, okay, we might make a trade soon. And we might be showcasing, we might not be showcasing, but we're letting teams see what we have. And we're letting our team know that we can fill in spots. There's so many variables by bringing up these guys that Chris Drury can use now when it comes to trade bait. You know what I'm saying? And we are going to get to that in a little while, but I just like the fact that you're bringing up these guys and giving them a little bit of taste of what it's like to play in the NHL. Rempe skated in practice and stuff like that. He's played. He didn't get to play the game. It's good for him to get that feel, so he's not going to feel out of place when he finally gets a chance to play one day. And the same thing with Edstrom. I like the way it's going right now. They're doing it at the right time, Paul. They're playing well again. Right. A couple weeks ago, I had to pull you off the cliff. Remember, you were like, "Oh my God, it's all over. It's this, it's that." I mean, things are okay with the Rangers right now, Paul. They got 34 wins, second most wins in regulation in the league. Okay, so I like what Chris Drury is doing by bringing these guys up, but I still say there's going to be a trade, and it's going to be for a center and a forward coming up soon. What do you got?
That's a good point. I don't know where you want to go. The Rangers power play 0 for 17. It's struggling.
That's.
It's been a dud lately.
You continue to try the Mickey Mouse. Let's play art on a chalkboard. Pass, no shot. Puck gets dumped down. Let's go again. Oh, pass, no shot, dump. Let's go down. Listen, you and I have talked about this ever since you and I started doing this on the radio, through the phone, when we're doing our shows on the phone. Remember those days?
I do.
When it works, it looks fantastic. Right? When it all works right, where you pass, wide open, empty net goal. But when it doesn't, it looks like horse shit. Right now, it looks like horse shit.
Yeah.
It's not very good right now. Somebody, and I believe it's these two guys, it's going to be Panarin or Fox, has to take control here. Take the shot.
Right.
Don't pass up the opportunities anymore. Panarin has shot the puck more often this year than he ever has.
Right.
I'll give him that, but it's still not enough when your power play's not working. Adam Fox is the greatest Ranger probably since Brian Leach at seeing the open man and making that great pass. But even he's got to get more selfish too, Paulie. There's plenty of times where he can rifle the puck. Instead, he's looking for that pass. And again, when it works, everybody's happy. But when it's not working, you got to do something different.
Well,
right now it's not working, and yet they're still winning games. They're still winning games, but there's always that big but.
Agreed. They're still winning games. But, excuse me, they're still winning games. But like you said, you know, a few weeks ago, especially when they're losing to teams that just they shouldn't be losing to. And I still feel this way, Chris. I mean, I think their game has improved a bit, but I just feel like, and I know you do too, because we talked about it, both on and off the air, show after show. It's still, this team, as it sits, as good as they are, you know, wherever they're sitting, 71 points, I don't think this is a Stanley Cup winner. They have to make changes. Would you not agree?
Well, I think they needed a couple of additions. I've never shied away from that.
Right.
But I'm always going to play the devil's advocate with you.
Sure.
Like I said to you last week, who scares you in the East right now?
No, I get it.
Boston got beat 4-0 by Vancouver at home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I can name all the teams that Paulie might fear a little bit, doesn't want to say, who have played horse shit too this year.
Yeah, well.
Nobody in the East scares me right now.
Yeah.
Nobody. Not one team that I would be afraid of to play in the playoffs right now if I was the New York Rangers.
I don't think they've done real good against Carolina. They struggle with Carolina, don't they?
Not in the playoffs, they haven't.
No, that's true.
No.
Well, you know,
I'm just giving you the what for there. I do agree with you. I still think they need another solid guy up the middle, but I also like to see another guy that can put the puck in the net, or another guy that plays Will Cooley style.
Well, let's talk about the rumor.
Oh, okay.
Let's bring it. Let's bring it to the rumor.
I'll bring it up. I was reading today, and this has been talked about for a while, but there's a rumor out there that the Rangers are not inquiring, but they have talked about Adam Henrique, centerman from Anaheim, Frankie Vetrano, right winger, for New York's first-round pick next year, and Capo Caco. Now, I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that trade at all. Because what it does, it fills in a veteran and a veteran that you need up front, which this team needs right now. They need a third center. Heedle's gone. Okay, he's not coming back. That's all there is to it. Plain and simple. Adam Henrique has the wear and tear, but he also has the experience. Okay? And Frankie Vetrano, am I correct in saying, people out there, that everybody's been crying about him coming back to the Rangers? I've been hearing it all year. We should get him back. We should get him back.
Yeah, I'd like to see him on Zibanejad's line for
Now,
sure.
Are you worried about a first round draft choice? Why are you going to worry about a first round draft choice? First of all, it's not going to be a high pick anymore because of where the Rangers are in the standing. Second of all, you never know anymore, as you can tell with some of the drafts. And Kako might need a change. You know, he might need a change. He's played a lot better. I'll give him credit. He's played a lot better since he's come back. He's contributing. But if you're going for it all, you have to make this kind of a move.
Yeah.
You have to make this kind of a move, Paulie. And if we're going to fill in, if that happens and you need that beef, well, guess what? The beef's there. Rempe's there. McKay's there if you need them. I'm just giving you what I would do. I would probably make that trade.
So, okay.
Yeah.
And I like what you're saying here. Now, here's my point I'm going to go back to. You just said Adam Henrique.
Yeah.
What sentiment is he playing for? What hole? Because right now, Brzezinski is playing.
They'll drop Brzezinski down and put him in the third slot. Behind Spinajad and behind Trocheck.
Right.
That's where they'll put him.
Right. And that, I would imagine.
Frankie Petrano will probably go third, second line with Kreider.
I think he needs to play on Zibanejad's line.
Well,
yes.
I'm just giving you that. I'm just saying you have options now. They're not going to pick up Adam Henrique to play on the fourth line.
No, I know. I get it.
You'll drop Brzezinski down
To the fourth.
Yes.
Between, I guess you moved. Well, I mean, he could play the wing. You got Goodrow and you got VC.
Yeah.
Right? So then you got Adam Henrique. You got Cooley. The only other guy I would think would be Blake Wheeler.
Oh, you can keep you can keep guys around. You're allowed to keep 2 or 3 extra guys around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like no team goes into a game without having 2 or 3 guys that are scratched. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you move VC up, you put Enstrom down on the fourth line with Brzezinski and Goodrow.
I'm just giving you the rumor.
And then you got to scratch Blake Wheeler. Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm just giving you the rumor that's out there that people are pushing. You know, these are a lot of NHL so-called pundits, and we know most of the time they're all full of shit. But you know, but if that's the case, I'm willing to make that trade.
I think the Rangers are best suited picking up Frankie Vetrano for sure. That Zibanejad line has got to get better. They got to be better 5-on-5. They need a little more scoring prowess. And we all know that Vetrano's not afraid to shoot the puck, man. And, you know, and Zibanejad can dish well. He's a great playmaker. He's a great setup guy. And you got Kreider on the left side, and you got, Vetrano on the right side. I think that line will become scary.
I looked at the Rangers stats again today. I know we keep harping on Zibanejad and Kreider, and everybody's. They both have very top plus minuses on the team, believe it or not, and they both have almost 50 points, Paulie. And yet, for some reason, we're all like waiting for them to get going. And yet they're like second and third in scoring on the team.
Yeah, but how many of those power plays?
It's an argument. That's all I'm giving you.
I get it, but it's a lot of power play points there.
Yeah, so Panarin. What are you going to tell me about Panarin doesn't get him on the power play?
I get it, but I think that line especially.
Panarin's an even player. You know that 5-on-5, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to have that. You're going to have that detriment when the guy plays fucking 60 minutes.
I'm just telling you the stats there, Paulie. It's all.
I get it.
Kreider's a plus 16, Zibanejad's like a plus 10, and Artemi Panarin's like either a 0 or a plus 1.
So
it's hard to argue that they're not really going, but I see what you're saying because I still don't think Zibanejad has hit his peak this year.
No, I don't think so either, and I think
I don't think Kreider has either.
I think Kreider's got
the numbers tell us different, is what I'm saying.
Kreider's got, he had a hot start, a lot of power play points. My issue with Kreider is not the points. It's what he does without the puck. He drives me nuts without the fucking puck. I'm sorry. He is my biggest pet peeve on the team. He fucking ballerinas around. I can't fucking stand it. I can't stand watching him. He's 230 fucking 2 pounds, and he plays like he's a ballerina. He just flies by guys, doesn't lay the body. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? I've watched him purposely not hit guys. And it drives me up the Zibanejad at least takes the fucking body. This guy, what is he doing? How does nobody recognize this? I don't get it.
It's one of those. Again, Paulie, we're talking about a veteran. That's what veterans do sometimes. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes. It's a kind of like an unwritten rule. You know that. I don't know what to tell you about it. I think he should use his body more, but you know, we've been beating this dead horse over and over and over again. But you know, it's not just him. There's a couple other guys that could be doing the same thing, and they're not. You know what I mean?
So he's the lead. He's supposed to be a leader of the club. You know.
No, I got it.
I don't know, Kotz. I mean, the way he plays doesn't win playoff games. We need that guy to take the. We're talking about how the Rangers need beef, how the Rangers need beef.
Okay, but I'm going to play devil's advocate with you. When and if the power play gets going again, who do you put in front of the net if you don't put him there?
You put him in front of the net.
Who? I'm just asking. Who would you put?
Well, now you got Enstrom. Now you got Cooley. But, yeah, I know what you're saying. You got to put him in front of the net. I get it. But I don't understand why the other part of his game isn't being addressed. I'll be honest with you. If it was me, I'd drop his ass down to the third fucking line and send a message to him. Chris, I need you to play some hockey for me, buddy.
Well, you know, it's a good argument.
And I would bench Andre Miller.
I can't tell you you're wrong in this. I'd like to see him be a little bit more physical too, but it's just the way it is right now. And I don't think it's the biggest problem the Rangers have right now, personally. But you know, it's one of those. I think the power play is their number one problem right now. Their number two problem is going to be is who's coming, who's going to fit in for this run for the Stanley Cup playoffs. And let's get right to the point here. Has Shesterkin found his game again? Let's talk it now.
I'll tell you what. I think Sebastian. I think Shesterkin was very, very solid in his last game. I thought it was a solid performance. He looked confident. He played the puck well. He made a couple of really big saves.
Late in that game. Remember those two saves he made late?
Back to back, yes.
One right after the other.
I thought he was very much in form. I think the team played pretty good around him. But he did. I think he did a hell of a job. And like you said, Markstrom was fucking fantastic too. So he had to really answer the call, and he did. You know,
I actually thought if you gave me a choice, I think Markstrom actually outplayed Shesterkin by a little bit.
And Shesterkin gets the shutout. You know.
Yeah. Markstrom could have easily had 4 or 5 goals put by him in the first period.
Yeah, I thought the Rangers played pretty good game.
Yeah, no, they played really good. And Shesterkin, again, it's good to see because you're going to need that guy. You're going to need him. He's going to – listen, we were talking about this a couple of weeks in a row now, okay? You got Jay Quick, solid guy. You have no problem putting him at any time, anywhere, any place, okay? But realistically, Shesterkin's the guy. He's the guy that's going to lead you in the playoffs. So he's got to get the game going again. He's got to get back to being the old Igor that everybody knows. And I think it was a good start the other night. You know, getting back to what it's all about.
Agreed. And he's definitely got to be number one.
And I did like him like swinging his blocker and all that shit there, trying to clobber one of the players the other night. I mean, I like that. It shows that he's got a little fire that hey, I'm back into it. I'm back into this again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I care. That kind of crap.
I would agree. It was probably his best game in a while. Glad he got the shutout. Glad he got confident. I want to talk about the Chicago Blackhawks game. But I also want to go back to this. Anthony, thank you. This is a really good point. I'm going to post it up here.
Greg Polis. Wow. He's coming up with it. Paulie doesn't know who Greg Polis is. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit young for that. But this is a good point, Anthony. And I read this. I've heard this too, and I don't know, Chris. How true do you think this is? Dolan told. It's supposed to be said that Dolan said that the team is not going to trade a number 1 draft pick. He's given instructions to Drury not to trade the number 1 draft pick. It's not the first time I've heard that. Do you think that's bullshit, or do you think it's? Do you think
possible? Yeah, and listen, anything's possible. I don't know, Anthony. I don't know where you got that from. I haven't heard that either. But
I have. I've heard it.
Well, I haven't heard that personally. But I don't think it's going to stop. I don't think if that trade comes about that we've talked about, I think it's going to happen, Paulie. Well, I do think that. That's just my opinion. I'm not telling you that. Go to Vegas and put money down on it or anything like that.
Right.
I think the Rangers are in a position that they're a couple of moves away from being a serious contender. They got the goaltending. You need a little bit more. I think you need a little more juice up front when it comes to 2 things, the beef and the scoring. Well, Vetrano fills the 1 spot. Okay? So, I don't know. If Dolan's told him that or not. But if the boss says that, then the boss says that. You're not going to argue against him. But I don't see that number 1 pick being a high pick next year. That's my point. You're not going to be. You're going to be drafted. They're going to be drafted from 20 to 30, Paulie. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You're in there.
I don't believe it to be true, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't think in the 50 years I've been watching hockey. Not 50 years, but I don't think, the Rangers have made some crazy moves, and they've done a lot of crazy things throughout the years. And I don't feel that is a true statement. I think that's false. I think that's falsified or maybe misconstrued or whatever the case may be is because as Kotze said, and I said, and you look around the team, and, it's everyone's knowledge that the core of this team is on the upside of 30, as you brought up, Kotze, before. And it's time. It's now. It's now or never, man. You got this year, next year, and you got to bring home a Stanley Cup because you're 4 or 5 years into this, into the rebuild, into the new players, and to where you are now, where you got a team that's dominant or supposed to be dominant. Or very, high up in what the playoffs are going to bring. You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, you can't trade nothing and get something. It's very rare. So, like Kotze said, you got to give up a number 1, a first round this year, and a player who's been high touted. In previous drafts, I mean, he went number 2 behind Jack Hughes a couple of years ago. Kako, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind to see Keandre Miller get traded. I think the Rangers are deep enough in the minors, and I wouldn't mind Keandre Miller be traded. And the other guy, and I know you're gonna yell at me for this, but I think in my heart of hearts, I'm telling you right now. I don't think Lindgren has got a lot of shelf life left, people. I'm telling you. And I think, you got to get what you can get while you can get it. Now, obviously, you would have to fill that hole, but I don't know that you got a ton of life left with Lindgren the way he plays, man.
Well, that could be true. That could be true, Paul. That's something that people could, choose to figure out themselves. But those aren't going to happen this year. What you just mentioned, Keandre Miller and Lindgren, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen this season. Okay. What I think is going to happen is exactly kind of like the rumors that are out there. It's going to be a draft choice. It's going to be a player like Kako or even some, who knows what. But it's just not going to be those two, K'Andre Miller or Lindgren. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, that kind of sucks.
There's a lot of guys, a lot of players in the juniors right now and in Hartford, like Othman and a few other guys, Sikora and stuff like this, that are the next wave coming. So to me, why am I, if I'm the general manager and I have carte blanche to do what I want, why would I worry about who I'm going to draft with the 27th pick in the NHL draft?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I do understand. I do.
That's just me, okay?
Yeah.
And if I have to package a potential guy like Kako who could break out playing somewhere else, well, then so be it. You know? I mean, how many times have we gone over this stuff, Paulie, where, oh, we should never have traded Busnevich. Oh, we should have never traded this guy. We should never traded that. Well, they weren't doing it when they were here.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about players that you traded that were successful somewhere else. But the 3-4 years that we're here, they didn't fucking do it.
Right. It's true.
I mean, that's the one thing I hate. I'm glad for the player. As an ex-player, I'm glad that they were able to continue their careers and do well. But as a fan or somebody that's close to the team itself, I could give two shits what they do once they're gone.
Right.
You didn't do it when you were here.
Agreed. It's true. I mean, it's a good point.
People have always harp on that. Wow, we should never have traded that guy.
Yeah, I think, I don't care. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I care, but I don't care. This team needs to win now. And if it's saying bye to Kako, if it's saying bye to Lindgren, if it's saying goodbye to any, pretty much anyone, the only one I probably would be heartbroken about would be Cooley.
They're not going to trade him.
No, I know. And I don't think if I'm being honest, and I'm going to be the first one to raise my hand and tell you this, I have really changed my attitude with Lafreniere. I feel like every game he's getting better. I'd like to see him. I think once he puts the finishing touches, this kid is going to fucking really, I think he's really going to be a big part of the future of this team. I like the way he's playing. I really do. He's playing confident. His hands, I'm starting to notice why this guy was touted. His stick handling abilities in tight areas around players, his ability, he's not afraid to, he plays that Canadian, North American, he's kind of like a gifted Trocheck. He looks like he's turning into me, I think the only thing left is for this guy to actually just start burying the fucking puck.
I totally agree with you.
And I think that's going to come. I think it's going to come. He's been slow developed, and a lot of it was Chris. You said, he wasn't getting the time. Now he's getting the time.
Exactly.
He's playing a lot of hockey, and you're starting to see this fucking kid start to shine.
Well, I told you that a long time ago. Like, it was hard. It was hard to crack the Rangers' top two lines if you were a forward, no matter where you were drafted. If we had a first overall and a second overall, it was hard to crack the top two lines because they were already solidly entrenched with long-term contracts. Everybody forgets that. When they got a long-term contract, you're not just giving that spot to that guy that's got 4 years left at $8 million. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Lafreniere, I agree with you. Right now, if he had any puck luck right now, he'd have 30 goals by now.
Yeah.
You know, because he's getting 3 to 5 good chances on average every game.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I said that to you a couple of weeks ago. People just got to get over I'm going to say, well, this will be the last time I say it. Get over the fact that it was number 1 overall, people. Just get over that.
Hey.
Get over it.
It's not going to be the last time you say it, but
no, I'm not saying it. I will. I promise myself I won't say it anymore.
Well, no, I mean, it's warranted, Cots. It's warranted. I mean, I get it.
No,
it's warranted. But I tell you what,
get over it.
I was the first. You know, I can very.
Like you should have let over Filipino about 3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the poor guy didn't even get to play this year.
Don't.
I know. I get it. He's injury prone. It is what it is. But I tell you, I was the first guy to say, listen, I think Lafreniere is a bust. And it is what it is, you know. But I'm really starting to see his confidence and the way he's playing hockey right now. His game is coming together. It's been a slow roll, but it's coming together. And like you said, you know, he's getting 3 solid chances a night, man. You know, and at some point, you know, like you said, a little bit of puck luck and, you know, some fine tuning. He's going to start ripping the back of that net up, man, and he's going to really be impressive. I'm starting to really like Lafreniere.
There's other little things that he's been doing that people probably don't really care about but are important.
I do, and that's what I've been watching.
There's two things to me that are important.
His passing's been real good.
Puck comes around the boards to him at the blue line in his own zone. I'd say 3/4 of the time he gets the puck out, okay, which some other guys can't do.
Chris Kreider.
And he wins at least 50 to 60% of his battles behind the opposition team net, battling for the puck. These are little things that you can see that are important. They don't show up on the scoreboard, but some of the passes he's made over the last 2 months to Panarin and to Trocheck.
Beauties. Yeah. You can see, like I said, listen, I'm admittedly saying this. I've begun to really see why he was touted the way he was, because he's starting to show little bits of brilliance, and it's like a snowball, right? You see this little snowball, and now the better parts of his game are starting to just overlap, and now you're starting to see, like you said, he wins puck battles. You know, he's not afraid to go into corners. His passing has got tighter and tighter and tighter. His ability to get away and control the puck, and then he's finding the open areas, and that's huge.
Well, it also goes back to what you said earlier, Paulie. They're counting on him to get a lot more minutes playing with the top line. You know what I mean? You got to get minutes to be able to show your stuff, Paulie.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening. And he's playing. Listen, he's playing with a pretty fucking amazing player in Panarin. And Trocheck's game, I think, you know, has blossomed as well, playing with those two guys. I think, that's the one line that really kind of brings it every night for them when it comes to opportunities and things. So,
I like Trocheck right off the bat. A lot of people didn't like him, but I did.
No,
I knew from watching him play when he was playing for Florida and when he was playing for Carolina what a pain in the ass he was to play against when the Rangers played him. I knew that then, and I knew that when he was coming here, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
The Brad Park trade, what a great trade that was. Even one worse than that, Anthony, was trading Rick Middleton. I wonder who did that. Was that Emile Francis that made that trade?
That's Kotze's favorite guy.
Listen, everybody's got a different opinion. A lot of people love Emile Francis. I can't say he did anything good for me.
I know. So, all right. So we covered that. We covered that. We covered that. I mean, I tried to rattle the cage here. Michael, I'm up to here with Chris Kreider. I really am. And if it was me, I'd fucking trade him for Ryan O'Reilly. I'll be honest with you. I would. I'm sorry. I would trade him. I would definitely.
Ryan O'Reilly might be available because of Nashville. I think Nashville, are they in a playoff spot right now?
No, I don't think they are.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. The other guy I'd like to see wearing a Ranger uniform, especially for the playoffs, and I spoke about it months ago. Radko Gudas.
Yeah.
I would trade DeAndre Miller.
But again, if you can't make a move like that, I'd bring up Connor McKay again.
Agreed. And like you had said, I didn't know this, but Big Ben Harper was hurt all year. He's still hurt, right? He blew out a knee.
He's out for the year. He had neck surgery and everything.
Yeah. He was the guy that, I would have considered bringing up as well because God, we really used him last year as well when it came down to it. But yeah, no doubt. I think the Rangers have what they need. It's just a matter of putting the pieces in place. I don't know if you have any other topics you want to talk about, but I'm
just seeing Michael talk about almost as bad as the JT Miller McDonough trade. JT Miller was here for how long? 3-4 years? And then he goes to Tampa. He still didn't turn into the player that he is now.
Yeah.
This is one of those things I'm talking about. When he was here, I liked him, but he didn't do anything. But now we're talking about JT Miller's a bad trade because now he's lighting it up in Vancouver. That's like fucking 8 years ago now. Please.
I was never, believe it or not, Mike, I was never a huge McDonough fan. I thought
I was at first. I really was. I thought he was an unbelievable skater. He was able to take chances and catch guys, from behind and everything else. But I think where I got sour on McDonough was how many times were you going to take a hit from Alex Ovechkin year after year after year after year and not do a damn thing about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sooner or later, you're making millions. Take the stick, shove it down the Russian's throat. He'll never hit you again. Pay the $500,000 fine, and nobody's going to hit you again.
Yeah. I think my thing with McDonough is McDonough would make a great play, and then he'd make a boneheaded play in the next fucking play. I don't know.
He was pretty good there for a while, though, Paulie.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, he was good for a while. I digress. I was going to say two things. I'll go with the positive first. Jimmy Vesey.
Playing awesome.
Yeah, and he's getting back into that groove. I still don't know why he's not constantly on the third line, but anyway, I'm not Laviolette. But I'm going to talk about line movement here because Kotz, nobody's explained to me. I can't figure it out why Blake Wheeler's still playing with.
Because he's actually got 9 goals and 14 assists now. You know that, right? 23 points, which is about middle of the pack of the Rangers forwards. I don't care what you say. The numbers are going to lie again. You know what I mean? He's actually played pretty damn good lately.
I mean, I don't know, buddy.
It's about respect, Paulie. That happens on every team. There's always going to be 1 or 2 guys that's that older guy, and it's always about respect. It's a different story when it's a Ryan Reeves who doesn't actually do anything except fight, you know what I mean, for you, where he's at the end of his career. You know, I don't think he's played that bad lately. I think I understand your grief with him, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody wants to make anymore. It's funny how we have all these, you and I both have our things about the Rangers that we disagree with. Like, you don't like this and I don't like that. And you don't like this and I don't like that. And yet they still got 71 points with the team roster the way it is.
Yeah.
The way it is, they're 2 points behind the Boston Bruins for first overall in the East, the way the roster is.
Well, you know what? I'm not too concerned about the regular
it can't be
season.
all shit. You know what I mean?
I get it. The regular season is what it is. The other thing I wanted to bring up, because it is a concern of mine, and I know it's probably not a concern of yours, but it is a concern of mine. It seems like the Rangers continually play down to teams that are sub 500. The Chicago Blackhawks game, they almost blew that game and had to win it in overtime.
Yeah.
This is a team that can't score. They're the worst in the league. This is a team where, just do the basic things and you should beat them. And here they are. They had what was it, a 2-1 lead, and just really couldn't finish them off. It never seemed like they played the New York Ranger hockey that you've seen them play, and they played down to teams.
Still won it. They still won it.
I get it. They won it in overtime.
They almost choked it away, but they still won the game. Listen. The other thing that people have to get over with is, and I'll be the first to admit it, in my 10 years or just under 10 years in the National Hockey League, there was dregs of the league, and I played for some of them teams, okay? And we used to get beat by scores of 8-2 every now and then.
Right.
How often do you see 8-2 scores other than the 7-0 last night? But how often do you see that from the dregs of the league now? You don't see that anymore, Paulie.
No,
you don't see that kind of crap anymore. Like where it's an automatic, Edmonton's going to go into Hartford and beat them 8-2. Well, Edmonton came into Hartford when I played there one year and we beat them 11-0. Okay? You understand what I'm saying here? Or we went to Quebec when I was with the Hartford Whalers, and in 2 games total, they scored 23 goals to our 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things are over where you're gonna play, be like the Boston Bruins are gonna go play Chicago, and Boston's gonna win 8-2. Those days are over. You got to be prepared to play every fucking night now. Doesn't matter who you're playing, where you're playing. You got to bring it every night, because if you take a little shift off here, a period off there, you've seen what happened this year with the Rangers. But I would hate to even look back at the rest of the teams in the league that have lost games like that this year. I guarantee you.
Yeah, there's a few.
I guarantee you. Every team in the league has done that.
Yeah.
But we focus on the New York Rangers, so we put blinders on to anybody else that plays shit like that. It's the truth. But you don't see blowouts anymore, Paul. You don't see that major blowout where, boy, if I was a betting man like in the 80s, I could have made $1 million every year. No, and it was going to be a blowout, like the Jersey Devils when Gretzky called them Mickey Mouse, remember?
Yeah. I guess I'm looking for that convincing team.
How many games? How many times has Tampa lost games in the teams they should have beat this year? How many is Boston? I guarantee you, Paulie, it's all spread around the league. Everybody does it. Everybody does it.
All right.
And for the most part, I would like to. I'm going to look this up. I want to see what the Rangers' record is against the top tier teams this year. I'm going to put it out there. I'll guarantee you they're at least 600 to 700% against the top teams this year.
Well, I know they've lost to Carolina, they've lost to Toronto, they've lost to
and they've beaten those teams too.
They've lost to Vegas twice.
Yeah, but Vegas wasn't the top team at the time.
Well, I mean,
they beat the Boston Bruins twice. How many times did they beat Tampa?
Twice.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they played pretty damn good against the top teams all around the league this year in general.
You know what the other thing I'm reading out of the blue out of here, I forgot to bring this up. It was one of the things. Apparently, Phil Kessel's working out with the Canucks affiliates.
Abbotsford. He's with the American Hockey League team. Abbotsford, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen. The guy's a winner no matter where he went. You know what I mean? He wins Stanley Cups. He went, you know what I'm saying? He didn't play much last year in Vegas, but they got a Stanley Cup out of it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Won Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh.
Well, listen.
Get your mucklucks ready and your thermal underwear ready.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited to come up, get some cold weather, drink a couple of cold beers, meet some people, and watch the Stadium Series game, man. It's my first outdoor game. It's yours too, right, Cox?
Yeah, I've never been to one. I've actually played one. That was with the Hartford against the Boston alumni.
Yeah.
It was like minus 20 degrees on the ice that day. Instead of playing 20, 20, and 20, we played 20 and 20 all at once, and we got off the ice. Those old asses froze to the ice.
That's
it was
hilarious.
Unbelievably cold.
It's
not going to be cold that day. I've already seen it. It's going to be 35 to 40 degrees at puck drop. That's not cold to me. Cold is when it drops below 32.
I'll be wearing that jacket right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a leather New York Ranger jacket, obviously, as you see. I might even wear the mask too. We'll see what happens.
We are gonna walk around to some of the tailgates there, so
yeah,
you better have some good kielbasa and all that stuff waiting.
Yeah, you gotta feed us and everything.
Blackberry brandy. Marty Howe and I. Remember Marty Howe, Mark Howe's brother, who I think was the best partner I ever had in Hartford. We used to go. He took me fishing out in Long Island Sound, and that's what we had: little bottles of blackberry brandy.
Bring a flask, he says. All right. Good stuff, man. So I'm excited to that. We'll be there Sunday. I get to hang out with Kotze and the crew, and we're going to meet everyone, and I'm pretty excited. So, and the Rangers need a win. Tomorrow night, the Rangers play Montreal. Honestly, the Rangers need to pick up these points as they're, in front of them. So
the Habs got embarrassed 2 games ago at home, 7 whatever by St. Louis. Then they won last night, so I'm kind of happy that they won the game before they're coming.
Well, again, the Rangers need to pick up points here. That Stadium Series game, what do you think, Kotz?
It's always tough. It's always tough to figure out. Like the ones I've watched on TV, it's hard to figure out. What's going to happen. Obviously, the Islanders and the Rangers. Come on, should be a good one.
Well, maybe Remke will be in that one.
Yeah, but I don't think the Islanders don't have anybody anymore. They got Matt Martin, but he don't play every game.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, the Rangers need to win take points out of that. The Islanders have been struggling. They're not as predicted to be as hot as they were going to be this year. So they've had their ups and downs. I think
they're still in the race, though, Paul. They're only 4 to 6 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, well, you can say that about a lot of teams.
Jersey's not even in a playoff spot right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Neither are the Penguins.
Yeah, and neither are the Washington Capitals.
Yeah. Your boy needs 59 goals, Cox.
Yeah, he got a couple empty netters, I heard, over the last couple of weeks. So he has the all-time record for empty net goals. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just want to let you know.
He overcame Wayne Gretzky's empty net goals. Yeah?
He'll never be Wayne Gretzky to me.
But we'll bring a flask. We're going to have a blast. I'll see everybody on Sunday. Let's go Rangers tomorrow night.
We'll have a good talk about it on our next show.
Yes, and we're going to have lots of pictures, Beth. I promise.
Well, we should take video. We should show video.
We will. My phone will be well charged.
It's a good thing you know how to use them.
All right. So we'll see everybody
I'm gonna
next
bring the '80s camo. You know the cam?
Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious. Next week, not sure when we're going to do the show. I don't get home until Monday night. So maybe Wednesday. We'll see. Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll try.
All right.
But, other than that, let's go Rangers. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. And whoever's going to be at the game, make sure you hit us up on the Instigators page. We'll try to stop by and see you.
Don't be scared. Peace. Ciao.
Good night, everyone.